Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. This week, I'm thrilled to chat with Billboard chart-topping singer and songwriter Billy Valentine, best known for his work on the Five Heartbeats, Boston Legal, and Sons of Anarchy. Billy is a multi-talented performer whose varied career has taken him across the United States and around the world. For 5 seasons, Billy's singing voice could be heard every week on the ABC series Boston Legal, from the theme song right through to the end of every episode. Sons of Anarchy, the hit FX series, was a home for Billy's voice throughout its 7-season run. His unique take on songs by Credence Clearwater Revival, Bob Dylan, and Sly The Family Stone introduced a whole new audience to his talents. In 1991, director Robert Townsend chose Billy as the lead singer in his film The Five Heartbeats. As a songwriter and vocalist, Billy has collaborated with such greats as Will Jennings, Burt Bacharach, and the Neville Brothers. We discuss his amazing career, as well as his upcoming show at the Chelsea Table and Stage, Saturday, June 8th at 7 p.m. Link for tickets in the description. It's a great interview, and I hope you enjoy. Hi, this is Les.
Hey, Les. This is Billy Valentine.
And thanks so much for making time today. I really appreciate it.
You kidding, man? I was looking forward to talking to you.
That's great. I have been a fan of yours since before I knew who you were. I feel like a lot of folks who've heard your voice are probably like that. I had, for whatever reason, when I saw Five Heartbeats, I was young, much younger. That movie just hit me square in the chest. I loved it, and consequently have made references to confused rooms of people about it for years. I don't care if they haven't seen it. I just go ahead and reference it. And your voice in it is, well, your voice is so great, and I'm so glad that folks have gotten to, I feel like, hear it more now with Sons of Anarchy and with Boston Legal, with these intervening things. But it made me so excited to get to talk to you. Going back to when you're growing up, you're a kid, you like to sing. Singing's one of those things that I think, even if it never paid money, folks, it feels good. It can break you out of a bad mood. There's a reason people do karaoke. When you're a kid and you're loving to sing, how did it go from that to hooking up with Young Holt Unlimited, or how did you go from I like to sing to telling a room full of people, I mean to do this, y'all should pay at the door? Well,
first of all, you have to know, I'm from a family of 13 children. 7 girls and 6 boys. And music was always in the house. I'm one of 13. I'm the 4th from the top. I have a half brother who's the oldest, and I have 2 sisters that are older than I am. But we're like a year apart and 2 years apart. And so I grew up in my home singing from I would say as early as the 2nd grade, because I was put into a talent show in school. And that's where the fire started to burn, right there. My 2nd grade teacher took a real liking to me. And I don't know, maybe I was longing for special attention being one of 13, but she gave me a belief in myself that still sticks with me to this day. Now, my older brother, at the tender age of 15, took me to Paterson, New Jersey. That's where I got to audition, you might say, for the club owner that my brother was working for. And that's where my professional career began, because this man hired me as the opening act for his showroom, and he paid me $75 a night. So that gave me a sense of, and I didn't know but two or three songs, but that gave me a sense of I was on my way to something here. That I I could be a professional. This lent me some kind of legitimacy. I had never made that kind of money in one night. I didn't make that kind of money in 2 weeks. but I hope that gives you a little insight as to, how it all began for me. My older brother was fantastic. Alvin Valentine, man. And he lived in Patterson, and we worked in Hackensack, and he was a hell of a singer and B3 organ player. And I sang with him for a long time.
When you were 15 and going to that audition, did it feel good, like your older brother was vouching for your talent there? Absolutely.
My older brother was just wanted the club owner to hear me. It wasn't like he just called me up to sing a song during the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Austin, Leon Austin was his name, and it was called Leon's Cocktail Lounge. He took a real liking to me, and he would even bring me back during the Christmas holiday, and bring me back because I lived in Columbus, Ohio. Excuse me, I was living in Columbus, Ohio, with my family, and my brother was living in Patterson, so that's how that all began.
Was there, when you're discovering the songs that that you like to sing, and of course you're going to discover the songs that are popular for the audience, and not necessarily the same list of songs, was there a moment where you felt it, where you thought, okay, I hear what other people are hearing, I sound great, I am killing this track, I sound great on this song? Did you have a moment where you kind of found your groove?
I was always, my audience, whoever I was singing in front of gave me a kind of a confidence about what I was doing. Now, it was always a work in progress. I listened to a lot of Ray Charles. And Ray Charles gave me, I could mimic that. I could easily slide into a Ray Charles song. That gave me a sense of, okay, I'm in the field. I'm in the playing field,
Mm-hmm.
That gave me a sense of confidence because I loved it, because Ray made a song his own. And that's the way I learned how to sing. I could make it my own.
And if I'm remembering right, you got to co-write a song on one of Ray's albums. Is that right?
Yes, I actually co-wrote a song called "My World," and it was that was the title of Ray's album, Ray Charles' "My World," and that happened. What can I say? You get my idol, my everything.
Yeah.
It was just incredible. These little things happen, and it gives you a sense that you're on this journey, and if you just keep your nose clean and do what you're supposed to do, good things will happen.
I think a lot of times when we're kids and we have a wild dream, like entertainment industry dreams, a lot of times it can be in your head like, I'm gonna become an actor, I'm gonna do a movie, it's gonna be a blockbuster, and then boom, I'm Vin Diesel, or I'm super famous. But often when I talk to folks who really work these dreams for years, it's always a lot crazier path than you realize. You end up, like you said, little things come up here and there, and it's never as simple as what, A, B, C, famous. Can you talk about getting into television type stuff and entertainment type stuff, getting to do be part of a movie like Five Heartbeats and be part of Sons of Anarchy? Was that something that you ever conceived of when you were on stage in a club?
No, not at all. I'll tell you how that happened. As you know, my younger brother and I were a duo
mm-hmm.
called Valentine Brothers. And when he and I split up, and I went back to singing solo again. This was. We'll have to go back to the Young Ho days, but this was way past the Young Ho days. When my brother and I had the hit "Money's Too Tight to Mention" in '82, it was when we split up. I became a demo singer. I started singing songs for a lot of writers here in the Los Angeles area. And one of my dearest friends is Bob Thiel Jr., and who I co-wrote My World with. And Bob had a publishing deal with Warner Chappell Music. And I would sing songs for Bob. I'd sing songs for Bob. And Bob and I were writing together. Plus, Bob was writing with other people, and he would call me in to sing their songs for their, they had a deal with Warner Chappell. So I would do that. And then the word started to get around that here's this guy who's singing these songs. I mean, if you were looking for a song for an Al Green, or if you were looking for a Bonnie Raitt or a Michael Bolton, those writers would call me to sing their songs. And that's how, I didn't realize it at the time. I'm singing these songs, and I'm really learning my craft of bringing these songs to life at a moment's notice. Yeah. I mean, just stand behind a microphone. I'm learning to do this like an actor gets into a part, and so I'm not thinking that these writers, these publishing companies, are not just playing it for the artists. They're playing it for television. They're playing it for movie people. Mm-hmm. So my voice was being heard throughout the industry, and they would always say, "Well, who's singing this? And who's doing this? Or who's doing that?" And that's how my name came up. And when Robert Townsend was looking for singers for the Five Heartbeats, I was just in the mix, man, just being in L.A. and being known as a session guy. I had to get a call on that as well as everybody else. And a lot of my friends got a call on that, too. And it was a ball just going to the audition, Yeah,
I think that's a side of the music industry that I didn't realize was a thing when I was a kid at home, listening to my records. I had no idea about the wrecking crew and session musicians and studio players and how good, that there's this set of musicians and set of singers that you may not know their name, but they're on a lot of stuff you're listening to, and they're great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
When you're doing a resident, like for example, when you're at Vibrato Grill in LA doing your residency, and it comes to putting together a set list and picking your songs now, what are the things across your music career that stick with you? What do you still get up there and love singing?
I love, I just sing what I feel. And in fact, that's going to allow me to be as honest as I possibly can, because you can't fake it. And I reach for songs that I know will resonate with my audience, like Georgia. It's a story. I have that same thing that Ray Charles have, where most of my songs tell stories. I'm a storyteller. You know what I mean? Tennessee Waltz. I like stretching myself. I like doing some of the Great American Songbook. I like my R&B thing is what I can't. I know, that's what I did all my life. But I like mixing it up, but being able to I've become a pretty good programmer, I guess, over the years, and setting the stage for myself and picking songs that seems to go over well anyway, you know.
Mm-hmm. And coming up, you've got on June 8th, folks can go see you at Chelsea Table and Stage at 7 p.m. What do you have planned for them there?
Well, you know, I've got a new music coming out that I've been working on. I worked on a couple of projects during the pandemic, and the one that I worked on with my dear friend Bob Field Jr. We worked on songs that were done during the '60s. His father had a label called Flying Dutchman, which had people like Gil Scott-Heron and people like that on the label. And I did a couple of Gil Scott-Heron songs. Home is Where the Hatred Is. We also cut a Curtis Mayfield thing called We People Who Are Darker Than Blue. And these are songs that at the time that we were cutting this was, you have to understand, we're in the pandemic. It's doing the George Floyd stuff. It was a very cathartic kind of thing, you know. It was, these songs resonated in the '60s, and they resonated today just like it was written for today. And I had to go deep down into my soul for that stuff. And I want to present some of that stuff at Chelsea's Table and Stage. I'm very enthusiastic about. I put it down. I put it down after I recorded it for about 8 months, and now I'm just starting to listen to it again, and I'm beginning to get a little excited about it. Now I'm anxious to perform it. I'm anxious to see how people react to that stuff, and I think New York's the best place to do that. Yeah,
I really just, I can't see a New York audience not loving you doing some Mayfield, and that song is amazing. I mean, he didn't write a whole lot of bad songs, but
well, you know, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
My heroes were not just Ray, but Otis Redding, Sam Cooke. Bobby Womack was a dear friend of mine. The list goes on and on. Marvin Gaye, all of that stuff, man. All of that's a part of me, you know, and what I do. I was lucky to come up in an era when there were such great singers.
Truly, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I was working at a video store in college, and we got a copy of Otis Redding's Monterey performance, I think it was, which I had never seen set before, and it blew my mind. I'd heard his voice, you know, but you know, you hear people's voice and you think, oh yeah, that's good soul, and then you see him on stage. It's amazing, and I know that's got to be a great feeling for you to listen back to. That's always a good artistic feeling, to put something down for a few months and listen back and get excited again.
My oldest brother, took me to see Otis Redding. I saw Otis Redding in Columbus, Ohio, in a 600 capacity venue. It wasn't no seats. It was a ballroom, and you could get about 600 people in there, man. And it was the most exciting thing I've ever seen in my life, Les.
I bet so. It's got to be like church. I mean, that's just got to be ecstatic.
It was like, the guy was like a freight train, okay?
Yeah.
And from start to finish, and to lay down a ballad the way he laid down a ballad, I still, every time I do Try a Little Tenderness, I relive that experience. Every time I do that song, and it wears me out because it's that emotional.
And I mean, I love your voice, but I think it's that personal connection. It's that emotion that you've got for this music that comes through. Like it's why you stand out.
That's the beautiful thing of it is as long as I be me, I'll be okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's just generally a good statement for folks to take forward in 2022. Be you, you'll be okay. Thank you so much for talking to me about all this today. I really appreciate it. And folks can go see you Saturday night, June 8th at 7 p.m. I cannot think of a better thing they could do with their evening. Chelsea Table and Stage. I'll put a link in the description here so they can go get tickets. And you're just going to kill it. I know.
Thank you so much, Les, man. I tell you, I love talking to you. Anybody that love the 5 heartbeats, man, and I'll tell you, that's probably some of the proudest stuff I've ever done.
It's just so fun. I mean, I know biopics could be. I mean, it's a fictionalized, but these things get. Robert Townsend wrote a movie. I get it, but there's just scenes in there that feel true. Of gosh, I hope that's how songs come together. That sure looks great.
Hey man, we cut that stuff at 3:00 in the morning.
Well,
because they were filming and we had to do the songs according to what the scene looked like to Robert, and we were hanging out in the studio, so it came together like that, and I had and those guys that are backing me up within the group, the singers, those were the guys that were on tour with Michael Jackson, doing the Bad tour and all of that stuff. They were the session singers of L.A., so he had the best singers on that record, in that movie. Anyway, Les.
It's fantastic. I'm going to go rewatch it now.
Well, I hope I get to meet you one day, man.
Same. I hope I get to see you live. Thank you so much. You have a great rest of your day.
Man. You too.
TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.